Good morning! It's Mornings with Mary. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. And as always, hashtag replay, you know the drill. Like and share. Today, we're going to talk about why to homeschool. Now, everyone's going to have a different reason. Everyone's going to think, hey, I have the right reason. And you know what? The right reason is the one that's right for you. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Let's talk about what's going on. But before we do that, I love these eyes. Don't you love them? I want to let you know that tomorrow is the last day that you can pick up your free copy of From Stress to Best right there on the website at maryharrington.com. So it's Harrington with an E, as you can see right there. See, I can put my head down with my little ears. So if you want your copy, go ahead and get it, because as of tomorrow at midnight, it goes back on sale for $20. So that's just what it is. You want it, go get it now. It's downloadable, totally free to you. And if you're new to homeschooling, on the What is Self-Led Learning page, there's actually a free homeschool binder, like Homeschool 101, that walks you through all the methodologies, how to homeschool, where to file, all that stuff that everyone says, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. So start there. It's free. I mean, free is like my favorite four-letter F word. Don't you love four-letter F words that end in E? Anyway, I happen to love those. So let's take off the filter, which is totally cute, and let's get real. I kind of miss my big eyes there. I can talk to you like this. So, good morning, Sarah. I hope all is going well at your house. My house is kind of crazy. We have an in-town guest, so my stepson is in town until tomorrow morning, so it's been kind of crazy over here. But why to homeschool? Well, everyone has their own reason. So for us, it started literally with saving Elizabeth's life. That was why we homeschooled, because she was suffering from anxiety and depression, and actually attempted suicides from school. The PTSD was so bad, I was sort of left with the choice of planning her funeral or figuring out how to homeschool. Not the ideal situation to learn how to homeschool, but it was the one I had, so it's the one I grabbed. With Sarah, we just never actually sent Sarah to school, because when she was young, we moved probably sometimes up to 3 times a year. Rich kept getting transferred and moving, and it was kind of crazy. So we thought, well, we'll just keep her home since Elizabeth is home. It's no big deal. She's young, whatever. And as she got older, we later discovered that she has severe dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, 6 different vision disorders, and there's no way that the school could actually meet her needs. Now, yesterday, the girls and I went to a coffee shop, and there was a woman sitting there with a teacher shirt on and a picture of North Carolina, because that's where we live. And yesterday was all over the news. The teachers were, rallying in Raleigh. And so I stopped and I talked to this teacher. It turns out she is an 8th grade science teacher. And she was explaining to me that in North Carolina, up to 50% of a classroom can have special needs. Hey, Becky. So in North Carolina, if you have 50% of class, so she was explaining she has approximately 40 kids in her 8th grade science class. So, just wanted to say, wow, I mean, if you have 40 kids, first of all, think about this, 40 hormonally charged kids trying to learn science, 20 of those have special needs. Not fair to the teacher, in my opinion. Not fair to the students who don't have special needs, in my opinion. Also, not fair to the kids that do have special needs. That's the teacher's opinion. That I took for granted. All right, so why you homeschool is going to be really personal. Some people homeschool because they want to have control over the curriculum. Some people homeschool because they want to have a religious influence. Some people homeschool to save their child's life. Some people homeschool because their child has special needs. Some people homeschool because they don't want to stick their kid in the system. Some people homeschool because that's been their dream. See, it's a personal thing why you homeschool, and there is really no one size fits all. I think most people start homeschooling and they think, oh, I've got to do school at home. So they sign up for K-12, or maybe they buy these other curriculums, and then they end up getting into these fights with their kids. And school at home is actually one of the highest burnout rates for parents and children as any other methodology. And the longer you homeschool, something really fascinating happens. I love talking with teachers who now homeschool, because one of the things that they actually say is, wow, I wish I'd started unschooling sooner. I wish I'd started self-led learning sooner. I wish I had trusted my child sooner. There's not one person that I've ever talked to that said, oh my gosh, I wish I'd bought this curriculum sooner. I wish I had implemented this curriculum sooner. They all every 100% across the board. And I don't just talk to self-led learners because I think that world would be kind of too small. I really like talking to people who have differing opinions than me, because it expands my mind and it expands my world. And I kind of get to expand theirs. So I'll be honest, it's kind of fun too. everyone across the board has said, wow, I wish I was more relaxed. If you pick up Homeschooling 101, What I Wish I Knew When I Started, every single one of those passages in like this 200-page book I picked up when I first started homeschooling was all about how I wish I had known I should relax, how I wish I'd known not to argue with my child, how I wish I'd known not to push those worksheets. So what really is important into why you homeschool is truly about the relationship with your child. And you have to remember, a child's not going to remember what they're taught. They're just not. But they are going to remember how they are treated. So what do you remember about school? I barely remember a lesson at all. I mean, if you remember them, like, raise your hand, give me a thumbs up, because I don't. But I sure as heck can tell you how I felt and how I was treated. So what's more important to you? Is it more important to you that they follow this strict curriculum, that you can check off boxes? I'm not saying that's wrong, because if that is authentic to who you are, then that's beautiful. But if it's not sitting right with you, if it's not sitting right with your child, why are you doing it? Why are you bringing them home, having them under your wings 24/7, and then fighting with them? Because really, what is your goal? Because there are going to be days that are going to be really, really hard. And you really need to know, what is your ultimate goal and why are they homeschooling? Because if your why is not clear, those are going to be the days that you're going to go, you know what, I'm done. Go to public school. Just get out of my face. Now, we all have those days when we think, get out of my face and leave me alone. Let's be honest. We're human, all right? But why? What is your why? So if you're listening, let me know your why down below, because I would really love to know, why do you homeschool? Because that is the key. So why to homeschool? Again, that's personal. We homeschool so that we can have control. I hate that word. But actually so that at this point, so Sarah has a say in her education and what she learns, so that we can keep her passion of learning alive, because she has all these disabilities. And if she was in a traditional setting, it would completely kill her desire to learn, which in the long run of her life is going to have a much longer impact than whether or not she is right up on grade level with math. It absolutely doesn't matter. You can take catch-up classes on math. There's a reason that colleges have remedial math classes. That's it, because you didn't learn what you needed to learn in school, all right? So for Elizabeth, it was, we continue to homeschool to save her life. At this point, she is now a lifelong learner. She's learning her own things. She's learning how to now run a business, what she wants to do, about business plans. So what is your reason? Why do you do this? That is what you really, really, really need to be clear about. Because if you're just bringing them home because you don't like what's going on, totally cool. What do you want instead? Really sit down and think about what is important to you, and then ask your child what's important to them. Because really, it's their education. It's not your education. You're done. You've been educated. Whether you liked it or not, it's like the book is closed, you know? You're done. You can talk to them about what worked, what didn't work for you, but they're a different person than you. So talk to them. Find out what their passion is. In Finland, starting next year, they have like this really cool thing that they're doing. So Finland, which is the #1 school system in the entire world, all right, is now going to be doing what's called unit studies. And unit studies, and there'll be self-led unit studies, which is totally awesome. Sarah's like, Mom, I want to do this next year. So the child picks the topic. What is that called? Self-led interest, okay? So the child picks the topic. I'm going to make one up. I'm going to say dance. That's not it, but there you go. Okay, hold on. Sarah says, I don't feel like I have a definitive why answer sometimes. Just a lengthy one, now tiny windows, no movement for hours, poor schools and zone, etc. All right, yeah, well then that's your why. But now how does that relate to your children? So if your why is because there are tiny windows in the school and there's no movement for hours, well then build on that, Sarah. So what you want then is you want lots of sunlight for your children. You want the ability for them to move. And what does it mean, poor schools and zone? Now, I don't know what that means in North Carolina. But what does that mean to you? In that way, it's personal. So to get back to unit studies, so Sarah, in this example, we're going to pick dance. Not that I know much about dance. But if the child wanted to study dance, and I'm purposely picking a topic I don't know a lot about, then they would pick books to read about dance that interest them. Fiction and nonfiction, maybe a biography or an autobiography. They'd then learn about the physics, if they're old enough, the physics of math. How does the music work? Because music is what? Mathematical. So maybe they would learn about music theory. Then they would learn about the history of dance, whatever dance methodology they're looking at. So in this case, ballet, and maybe they would watch videos from the Russian ballet. They would then look at the history of it. It takes one subject that they are interested in and expands their world. And because it's something that they are driven and interested in, they're going to be like, oh, and one thing's going to lead to another, which is going to lead to another, and you're going to watch this web of learning happen. It's really cool. So there is a difference between education and learning, okay? Education is what is forced upon us, what someone else says we have to do. Learning is what we actually absorb. Now, there are school systems and there are states that dictate what you have to learn, all right? I use World Book Encyclopedia, typical course of study, all the time as a guideline of where we kind of need to go for that year. What are we shooting for? It gives me an end goal, but it doesn't say how I have to do it. So, if they need to learn about space, awesome. What do they want to learn? How do they want to learn it? Do they want to make cupcakes of the solar system? Do they want to go on NASA.com? Do they want to take a trip to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida and watch a spaceship go up and go to their center? Do they want to go to the homeschool day there? You have unlimited possibilities because children don't think in limitation. Children think in expectation. They think, wow, that's where I want to go. Wow, this is what I want to learn. As long as you haven't killed that yet. As long as the school system hasn't killed it yet. And you haven't put parameters around what they are allowed to learn or how they are allowed to learn it. They are like this sponge that just wants to absorb knowledge. Now, maybe it may not be a way that you're comfortable with. Maybe their way of absorbing is YouTube. And you're like, dude, man, I do not want you listening to X, Y, and Z. Because they're going to say swear words. They're going to say the F-bomb. They're going to say dick. They're going to watch a video where someone's name is, I swear to God, Rich will wank it. I can't say that without laughing. All right, so, I mean, they're going to see these things, but what do you think they'd see on the bus? What do you think they'd hear in the hallways? Are you really that naive that you think your child is not going to hear the fuck word? Really? Really? Like, I'd rather you hear it with me so we can at least talk about the right way to use the word, all right? Disagree with me all you want. I'd rather they get exposed to the world at my elbow so I can explain it. Like last night, we were watching this video about Rich will wank it. It's the world's like worst names, okay? And that came up. And Sarah looked at me. She's like, well, Mom, what does wank it mean? Why is that funny? So I very calmly was able to explain, well, that is a term that is used when men masturbate. And she's like, well, what is masturbate? I'm like, well, that's when you self-please yourself. And so, I mean, we had this whole like impromptu sex ed conversation where there was no embarrassment. But imagine if she had asked someone on the bus or in a hallway and another 11-year-old, like, what would they be able to tell her? It's when they take a penis. I mean, come on. Get real. Agree or disagree, that's up to you. But I can just say that's where I stand on it. So why to homeschool? Yeah, I know. Thank you. Okay, how about this? The guy, Rich will wank it, is a real estate agent. And he uses his name to justify it. And he's like, yeah, any other real estate agent, it's all just like real estate masturbation. And so, but I really will get it done. I mean, it's absolutely hysterical. All right. But at least we were able to have this conversation. I know this is kind of inappropriate, but it's all right. It's life. Having children is inappropriate. All right. So why to homeschool? Personal choice. That's up to you. But be really clear as to what your homeschool reason is. Really, really clear, because otherwise you are not going to get through those days where you feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? I have those days and I'm like 10 years into it. So I'm like, crap, what the hell did we do today? What did we do that had any learning? Sometimes I think nothing. And then I sit back and I realize, you know what? We had sex ed class and we learned how to have a debate and we learned to work through an argument. And we learned that communication is important. And we learned about healthy food. And we learned about how to take care of ourselves. Things that you don't get taught in school that you really have a need for in life. Because school doesn't prepare you for life. School prepares you for school. So if you plan on staying in school for the rest of your life and you plan on paying for your child's education until your death, you might want to prepare them for life rather than for school. Anyway, it has been Mornings with Mary. It is Thursday, which means tomorrow is Ask Me Anything, which you guys never seem to ask me anything. So I'm either really good or you guys are really silent. So think of some questions, leave them below, Let me know what you think. Tomorrow's like the Cliff Notes version of the week. So if you miss any day, Monday through Thursday, you kind of like get the Cliff Notes on Friday. Maybe it's just a cheater section. But either way, you get it really lucky. Now, if you've missed some videos and you want to watch the whole thing and not get the Cliff Notes because sometimes they kind of suck, go to the page when you get done with this video. On the left, there's this little thing that says videos. They should all be organized except for this week. So you can click on parenting, mental health, self-led learning, other, inspirational. I organize them. Or you can even go to the YouTube channel, which is called Inside Parenting. I mean, I've got like all this stuff. Now, don't forget, till Friday, you can get your free copy of From Stress to Best. It's right there on the homepage. Sign up for it. You get a link. Boom. Download. Boom. You're done. And if you go to What is Self-Led Learning, you have the free Homeschool 101 binder. And until then, I shall see you tomorrow morning. I am off to do really exciting things like laundry and dishes and vacuuming. Because that is really the life of the talk show host. Motherhood and housekeeping. Exciting. Have yourself a great day. I'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.